Thank you. Just as a general thought, if someone was, again, highly motivated, what should our relation with the sun be? Is this something where you're saying get sun in the early morning? Are you saying get 20 minutes, an hour, 6 hours, 12 hours? What would be perfect if someone was motivated regarding our relation with sunlight?
Well, just the general mainstream person, what I would say is that getting 30 minutes of natural sunlight in the morning, as long as it's not triggering a blink reflex, so you don't have to look directly in the sun, even if it's cloudy outside, you're still getting the sun. You can wear a hat, you can, you don't want to look directly at the sun, go walk. That's a good time to do it. The more advanced people, I would say end of day is also great. We get color therapy at that time because usually around sunset, sometimes we get the different colors, and our eyes need different colors. Red is more stimulating, violet, purple, blue, green is more relaxing. So that would be a way to get color therapy. But I think we've been taught to be afraid of the sun. I think there's a lot of fear out there, and I think it's really overblown. Yes, UV in high amounts can change the lens health, but we actually need trace amounts of UV. One of the people that I love, I'll mention his book, John Ott. It's called Health and Light. And one of the things Ott talked about was something called malillumination, just like malnutrition. And what he would say is that we're not getting the proper light diet. I remember an example of this in my office. I had a very busy office and I had 7 people working up front. They were processing all the insurance claims. And there was always a lot of conflict and fighting and, just bad vibes. So one weekend I went in and I changed the light bulbs to full spectrum fluorescent lights. And I didn't tell the staff. So about a week later, we had a meeting and they said, geez, what did you change? We're feeling so much better in the front office. And I told them, and they said, that makes sense. Now we're now in natural full spectrum lighting and our bodies are less stressed. We're more open to it. So full spectrum lighting is like full spectrum living. And we need to get away from artificial light. We need to get away from the digital, and we need to go into a space where we're getting the natural sunlight. Speaking of light, I'm going to put the light on here. So hold on a second. Thank you. Okay, next question.
So just to be clear, so if is it dangerous to be outside too much? Like, is it bad if you're a gardener and you spend all day outside? Is that a good thing or a bad thing for your eyes?
Well, if I was a gardener, a forest ranger, or a lifeguard, I would certainly be investing in a good pair of sunglasses. And a lot of it depends on my skin health, how sensitive I am to the sun. I think using sunglasses is actually a really good thing. I think you want to get a good neutral brown or neutral gray, pay a little bit more and get a high quality sun lens. But again, we're talking moderation. You get that natural light in the morning, 30 minutes. I know for me, I like to hike. So sometimes today I was hiking with my dog, and for part of the time I was wearing sunglasses because I was right in the sun. And then we were up at a stream playing up there, and the sun was indirect. So I took my sunglasses off. I do a lot of skiing. I ski up in Taos and I wear sunglasses. I go out in the ocean and I wear sunglasses. There's nothing wrong with that. I think what it is you need to feel your body and give your eyes and your body what it wants. Talk to your eyes. If it's too bright, it's perfectly fine to wear sunglasses. If you're driving into the sun, wear sunglasses. Now, where you are, the sun isn't quite as extreme as where we are in the desert Southwest. So I might wear sunglasses a little more than, say, where you are. But if you're sensitive, protect yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fear part of it changes the neurochemicals in the brain, and that's where the issue comes in. I want to have good levels of serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin. I want to embrace the sun and I also want to be sensible about it. As soon as I go into my fear, what happens? My cortisol levels go up, my dopamine and serotonin go down. So be aware of what your mind is doing and understand that basically we're heliocentric. We go towards the sun, just like the plants, and then we just have to moderate how much and how long.
And if we every day want to take a 3 or 4 hour walk outside, we seem to like the sun. We don't really want to wear sunglasses. Are you
Mhm.
comfortable or are we doing damage to our eyes?
No, we're comfortable with that. We're comfortable with that. And you know what? You can always check in with your eye doctor and eye health, see what's going on with your macular health and your lens. I recommend routine exams so you can monitor that. So if you start developing a cataract, you can go, okay, why is that? Is it because of the sun? Is it because of my sugar? So, I think it's really important to check in and go to your doctor, whoever that is, and just get a baseline on what is going on in your health. I know a lot about health. I know a lot about nutrition, but I do not prescribe for myself. I go to doctors and they tell me what I need. So I am not an ego about that saying, well, I know. I go to people because I don't know what I need.
Okay. What should we do? Thank you. What should we do? What is your best recommendation about the light bulbs in our house?
Well, I think we've got the LED conversation, and that's the blue light. I would say in as many cases as you can, get full spectrum lighting. Kind of depends again, like if you're in an apartment and you don't get a lot of natural light, I would probably focus in on getting more full spectrum lighting. That would be my intention. If you live in a place where you're getting natural light in the windows, then it's less of an issue. I think that again, a lot of it depends on the toxicity of where you live, and go from there. That's how I would.
So does that
Navigate.
mean to get incandescent bulbs or LED bulbs? What does that actually mean in terms of what bulb?
Well, what it means is my primary would probably be incandescent and getting full spectrum. There's things called the OT lights. You can go online and now they've got a lot of different full spectrum lights. I would probably move away from LEDs if I could. Another thing you've got to consider is winter. And again, if you're sensitive, sad, I would get yourself a full spectrum light box where you're treating yourself with that. That's another piece to the puzzle. But full spectrum, incandescent, and see what you can do.
Okay. Um, One more time, full spectrum. What does that mean in terms of buying a bulb? Like, do bulbs say full spectrum on them or not? Like, what is, I
Yeah,
own,
you can again go online, type in full spectrum light bulbs and see what comes up. Sometimes they're compact fluorescents, sometimes they're incandescent. They come in different ways, but the reason why it's full spectrum is that you've got, again, you can eat food, artificial food or fast food. That's like the light that is artificial light. Or you can eat a full spectrum food diet, and light is basically a food. It's just in a different form. So you want to look for the term full spectrum indoor lighting. That would be what you want to look for and see what comes up. I think that's a really good thing to think about.
okay, thank you. Um, in terms of light therapy, have you already described light therapy or have we not discussed that?
No, we haven't really discussed it. So there's two ways we can talk about it. One is photobiomodulation, which I know some of your folks have talked about the benefits of red light therapy. Not so much for the eyes because it's too bright. One of the things that I have developed are actually, I call them red exercise glasses. So they have the 670 nanometers in the lens. That's a pair of glasses, and you can control the brightness of the light source. That works really well. So that's one form of the red light therapy. There's also another form of light therapy where you're using all the colors of the spectrum. And we want to put down blue light, but once you get up to like 475 nanometers, that blue light actually is really good to release trauma, and also it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. There's a color therapy treatment protocol, which I'll share with you. We actually did it the other day. You can either do this by getting all the main colors of the spectrum, Roy G. Biv, in glasses. And the way it works is you're going to treat yourself with the rainbow of colors. So you start off with the red glasses, you put them on, you ask yourself, what do I see and how does it make me feel? And that particular red may stimulate the root chakra. It may bring up some memories. Again, color and light trigger the hidden energies behind the eyes. That's one of the things that's why color therapy is so amazing. You wear that for 2 minutes, take that off, then you put the orange on. Same thing. What do I see? What do I feel? And the feeling, the emotion is very important to connect to it. Again, 2 minutes, move to yellow, then to green, then to blue-green, then the blue, then the violet. So if you do that spectrum of rainbow colors, I did research on it using a special energy field camera and chakras when I was at the Esalen Institute. And we did a study where we measured people doing that very treatment before, we measured their energy, and then after, and we found their chakras were much more lined up, their energy fields were much bigger, and their acupuncture meridians were much more balanced. This was getting light into the eyes. This is how we did the study. So doing this energy color therapy every day, and then you could combine it by using aromatherapy. We, in my trainings, we use 7 different aromatherapy color oils that match the colors. We can also add sound to it, so you can add sound healing. So by doing that, it's working on the energy of the body, the energy field, and it's a way to really kind of clear out all the disharmony. If there's a color or colors you don't like, you probably have a color allergy. So that color you want to treat yourself a little more so that you would release whatever the disharmony was, and then you'd be more full spectrum yourself. Because wherever you're not receiving that color, you're probably attracting that life experience into your life. That's kind of what we do. We attract what we need to heal. So the color therapy in that way works really, really well. And again, you can get these glasses on Amazon, or you can look for a rainbow color machine. It's wonderful. You can also do it with each eye separately. You can also intuitively say, oh, I think I need green today. So you could do 10 minutes of that. If you're in eye pain or you're dealing with traumatic brain injury, I would do a blue or blue-green. That helps reduce trauma. If you're low energy or you want to cleanse your liver, I would do a yellow or yellow-green or an orange. So, you can work with it intuitively. You can do all the colors. You can start with the indigo violet and work your way back to the red if you want. 30-day challenge. Do it for 30 days, and you will see differences in your vision, your awareness, your consciousness, and it's a really cool way to balance your health.
Thank you. Your lecture title, The Eyes Never Lie, suggests a strong link between vision and overall health. In your experience, what is one of the most surprising systemic conditions you've identified through an eye examination?